Well, good morning everyone. Today I intend on assembling my new BendPak Quick Jacks 7000 SXL. If this interests you, please stick around. As with anything that you may be trusting your life with, which is these jacks, because I'm going to be having very heavy cars on them, I intend to do the first thing is read the instructions. So I'm going to read the instructions and then I'm going to follow the instructions to the letter, since like I said, this is not something to kid around with or make jokes about or anything. We're gonna do it exactly how it says to do it, so that there's no accidents. So let me do that and then we'll get to going. So remember, before you do anything that has any possibility of causing you grave physical harm or killing you, make sure you read the instructions, because I'm sure they spend a lot of time and money to make sure that you and I and anyone can put them together safely. So here I go. After reading the instructions, the first step is to get your package of assembly items, male and female hydraulic connections, 2 extra wheels for the frames, some packages that said had feet for the power unit. Evidently I didn't get those. And then the angled hydraulic fittings for the hydraulic cylinders on each of the frames. So it said the first thing to do was to put these angled fittings into the cylinders, the hydraulic cylinders. So that's what I'll do. It said to not, I repeat, do not put Teflon tape on the 2 O-ring ends of the fittings, and you should use Teflon tape in the direction of the way you're turning the nut or the hose on the other end. So let me do that, and then we'll go to the next step. Like I said, the next step is to install these angles. Here are the angled fittings that go into the hydraulic cylinders into here, so that we can connect the short 6-inch hose. So let's do that. The first step in this is getting these dust caps off, and they are threaded in. So I unthread that, and then I take the fitting, and it has an adjustable sleeve right there to make sure you can turn it in the correct direction you want it. So we'll install the angle till we get it tight to where we need it. And then this fitting is an 11/16. If I can get it on there. So I'm going to tighten it up without moving it. So there is one of the 90-degree fittings in. Then I'm going to do the same on the other side, but you don't need to watch me tighten 2 of these down. So the next step is to assemble the short hoses, which attach to the jacks. So it says to remove the dust cap and then install a hydraulic male fitting to it. So I'm going to take the dust cap off, and then it said to wrap it 3 times in the direction that you will be tightening. So to tighten, you go right. So we're going to go right. There's 1, 2, whoa, almost got away from me, and 3. And then it just snaps. Put a little extra pressure on it. You got your Teflon tape on there, and then you can fit your hydraulic fitting on there, and it just goes on there easy peasy. For whatever reason, I can't find my bigger wrenches today because I'm so highly organized, so I'm going to use a crescent wrench. But you get the hint on how this goes. So The smaller size, same size. It's a, the hell size is 11/16. So there we go, and we're just tightening this sucker down. So there we go. There's one short hose. I'm going to do the other one, and then I'll turn you back on and attach one of these to the cylinder. All right, so I have the short hoses made, and what it said to do was to use Teflon tape on this fitting going into the cylinder, and I will do that. It said 3 wraps on each one. All right, so then it said to route this hose under the frame so that it does not get damaged when it is raising up and down. So now this is under the frame, and as you can see, now you see why I put the angled fitting this direction, so that it will remain out of the way forever, thereby avoiding damage caused by the jack going up and down. So now I just got to tighten this up so we don't have any hydraulic fluid leaks, and then I got to do the other one. So as I was saying, I'll do this one, finish it up, and then I'll shut you off and I'll do the other side, and then we'll go from there. Alright, the next step is to get the long hoses ready to use. These are the hoses that go from the power unit to the jack frame, and they get a female hydraulic connection on both ends. One goes into the power unit, connects to the power unit, and the other one connects to the jack. So fitting going on, and then I'll tighten them up and pick up the Teflon tape and do the other one, and then we'll go to the next step. So the long hoses are done, the short hoses are done. That only leaves us to put the male fittings, male hydraulic fittings on the power unit. Alright, so we have the long hoses assembled. We have the short hose assembly attached to the jack stand. So now I just have to attach the male ends to the power unit. So that is what I will do now. The instructions are very specific. They say do not use Teflon tape on these since it has an O-ring. So that's what I will do. So it also says to start with the bottom one so that you have a better and easier time getting to this lower one to tighten it up. So that's what I'm doing. There's a little bit of hydraulic fluid coming out of there. That's not for me. I have not filled it yet because that's later in the instructions. Okay, there's one in. And now I will put the second one in. And there we go. So now we have the hydraulic connections to the pump. Then the last thing to do is put hydraulic fluid in the pump. And what it said was take this off, and it takes 2.5 quarts, and you can use hydraulic fluid and or ATF fluid. And what I am going to use is hydraulic fluid. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to fill it within 1/2 inch of here, and then it said put the cap back on. So let me pause it while I get my hydraulic oil and a funnel. Alright, so what I have gone and gotten, like I said, it said you could use ATF, but I went and got some Tractor Supply hydraulic oil, ISO 46. It's one of the approved hydraulic oils that you can use in the system. So I am going to put that in. It says to remove the plug and then fill it to within 1/2 inch of the top of the tank. So we will fill it within 1/2 inch of the top of the tank and try not to make a huge mess while doing it, since I got a 2-gallon jug of hydraulic fluid and I only need 2.5 quarts. So I'm going to go very gingerly and slowly, because I think it had some in there to begin with. Let's see how it looks. I think I need a little more. I think I have reached capacity. So now I have to put the cap back on, tighten it back up, and I think we have it assembled. Well, I don't think, I know so. So, the last thing it says to do before you use it is to put air in the air cylinders and 40 to 50 psi. So I am going to shut you off from my air compressor to get it to pressure, and then I'm going to put, it also says to totally release all the air in the air cylinders that it came with, and then refill them to 40 to 50 pounds. So that's what I'm going to do next, and I'll turn you back on when I get ready to do that. Alright, well, I was charging up the air compressor. I have already released the air that was already in the air cylinders. It's at 47, so that's good. And as you can tell, it didn't take very much to, and that one's dead, or not dead, but completely empty. Let's see what we got here. We might have to put a little more in there. Yeah, that's 45 right there. I'll just put a tad more. Alright, let's see if we got 50 in here. Alright, I'm going to put the caps back on the valves, and then we will try this sucker out. So stick around, and I'm not going to lift anything. I'm just going to do the test to make sure that it moves. Alright, so I have everything put together. I have the power unit hooked up to each one of the jacks. I'm just going to run it up a little bit to make sure I got enough fluid in there. See if I have to bleed anything. So here we go. Here we go. The one on the left, on your right, is getting pressure. And there they go. So it would appear that I have successfully put it together. And if you watch the whole thing, it was very, very simple. And I made sure I read all the instructions. One of the other things I wanted to do once I had it up, and very, very specifically, it says do not run it up past the highest lock point. So I'm just doing this to make sure I got fluid to the cylinders. Yeah, it was very, very, very straightforward. And now I'm just checking to see if I got any hydraulic leaks, which would be pretty obvious. And it appears that I do not. So I'm going to go up another second. And then I'm just going to put them back down. And there they go. So I am happy as hell. But again, like always, I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate it. It's greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. If you like the content, please subscribe, because I'll be making more of this type of video, dealing with my cars and tools and all that other good stuff. So thanks again. Please subscribe, please like, and please share. Have a great day.